In this video, I want to talk about rack pulls, deadlifts, and the soreness that you get in the upper back and the traps. Basically, I want to identify what it all means. So to break this down, I want to talk about a story that happened to me just the other day. So as you all know, I've been focusing a lot on my deadlift for the past several months. And this has mainly included pulls off the floor, such as the behind the back deadlift, trap bar deadlift with low handles, high handles, and now even the sumo deadlift. So all I've been doing really is pulls off the floor for the most part, and 99% of the time, the weights that I use are in the 500 to 600 pound range. It's never in the 400s, never in the 700s. It's always been in the 500 to 600 pound range, right? That said, the other day, I decided to go to the gym and do rack pulls above the knee, just because I felt like it. Something was telling me, my instinct was calling to me that I had to go in the gym and do some yoke training. So I went in just for the hell of it, and because it had been so long since I last did a rack pull, I think the last time I did it was 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, I decided that I would only use lightweight. So what did I do? I loaded up 8 plates per side, and 8 plates per side is only 765 pounds, which is 65 pounds over my trap bar deadlift 1 rep max. So I thought to myself, okay, it's going to be sub-maximal weight. It's not going to be anything crazy, right? So I decided to do some work sets of 5, and at the top, I would let my traps like stretch at the bottom, okay? And wouldn't you know, I would say about 5 to 10 minutes later, my traps are aching, which was very interesting because I haven't had a sensation like that in a long time. So I didn't really pay much attention to it, decided to go home, eat, do my regular thing, and I went to bed. Now, when I woke up the next day, which is today, my traps experienced some of the worst DOMs in my entire life. Today, my traps are so sore, it is absolutely mind-boggling. And the thing is, I was only lifting 765 pounds. My 1 rep max is 1140, and when I was really focusing on the yoke training, I would often do work sets with 900 to 1000. I would do like 5x5 with 5-second holds. So 765 is extremely sub-maximal weight for me, yet I have some of the worst soreness in my entire life in the traps. This got me thinking about how rack pulls are so fucking amazing, like how it truly is a master exercise, right? And I know some guys are going to say, oh, well, Alex, it's because you haven't done the exercise in a while. That's why you're so sore. But that can't be right, because there were a lot of deadlift variations that I hadn't done in a while that whenever I would do them, I would not get sore. Because as you all know, I use concurrent periodization, so I rotate lifts. So I would rotate different deadlifts, some of them which allow me to lift heavier, like the trap bar deadlift, yet no soreness ever came about. Yet the one time that I decided to do rack pulls above the knee with sub-maximal weight, nothing heavy whatsoever, only 765, I have aching DOMs. Something's not right here. Think about this, right? My 1 rep max trap bar deadlift with the high handles was 700 pounds. You saw me do this on camera yesterday. Only 65 pounds more. And it was not heavy. It was not hard. It was like a warm-up almost. Yet I have more DOMs than that. What does this demonstrate about the traps? Well, to me, this demonstrates what I've been trying to teach you guys all along, which is the fact that the weighted stretch is the most important part in building your traps. Hands down, it is the weighted stretch. I've said it so many times. When you look at the farmer walk exercise, which is notorious in the strongman world for building your traps, it's all weighted stretch. You're just grabbing onto 2 implements and you're holding the weight. And it's this stretching action that builds them. But when you do rack pulls, it's not the range of motion that counts. It's not the fact that you're picking the weight off. It's the fact that at the top, your traps are being pulled down. That is what builds the traps. And the fact that I am this sore from sub-maximal weight, when it's only 65 pounds more than my 1 rep max trap bar, which is a grinder, that proves to me that rack pulls are superior to the traps. And of course, you can check out my yoke playlist. I have so many, like I've talked about rack pulls many times, all the benefits that it has. I even have a video comparing the deadlift to the rack pull. But this only further proved my point, because it can't be that an RPE 12 1 rep max grinder to the absolute max does not get me sore, yet doing 65 pounds more is making me sore like crazy. Does that make logical sense? And then when we look at the correlations here, right? When we look at the fact that I used to have the worst upper back and traps in YouTube Fitness, and then I took them up to a large size. Some guys say it's the best by using the rack pull. Is that a coincidence? In fact, yesterday I was sent a video by a subscriber who did 1,100 pounds Jefferson rack pull at the knee and about 1,340 above the knee rack pull, okay? And he just released a posing video today, and I saw his traps. They're fucking crazy. They're bigger than mine. He's more yoked than me. So it seems to me, whenever I find a guy who has an insane rack pull, they all have big traps. Every single one of them, no exception. I think the correlation is very high. And then when I look at the guys who do deadlifts, I've seen thousands of guys on the internet who have 500, 600 in that range. They don't have big traps. They're not yoked. The only ones that seem to be yoked are the roid heads. But the natural guys, I've seen it time and time again. Guys who are in the 500 to 600 pound range don't have big traps. And when I think about my own experiences with deadlifting, my traps have not been getting any bigger. In fact, they've probably shrunken in size. And to me, the fact that I'm so sore demonstrates that they've become weaker, that my traps have become weaker and they're not as conditioned as they used to be. So I just want to share with you guys that experience today. I believe that when your traps get stupid sore, that demonstrates something. That demonstrates that you're doing something different. Because it can't be that deadlifts are as good as people claim. All right, the only times I've seen guys get big traps from it is if they're pulling really, really heavy, like in the 700, 800, 900, or if they're on drugs. I rarely ever see naturals in the 500, 600 pound range, which is the majority. I rarely ever see them have traps up to their damn ears. Yet everybody who does rack pulls has big traps. And the fact that I'm sore from sub-maximal weight, what does that demonstrate? Is it, like, think about it. I've received thousands of testimonials from guys telling me that rack pulls above the knee got them yoked. Thousands. Not 1, not 5, not 10, not even 100. Thousands. All in this very comment section and even email pictures, right? When I think about it, it's so obvious. Rack pull is the fucking king of yoke exercise. There's nothing else that maximizes the weighted stretch, which is how you get big traps in the first place. That's why deadlifts work. Deadlifts is weighted stretch. It's pulling down on your traps, right? That's why farmer walks work, okay? It's all the weighted stretch. That's why power shrugs are so effective. It's the fact that you get the eccentric overload, the weighted stretch with that super heavy weight. So I'm convinced, like after this experience, the fact that I only use 65 pounds more, yet I'm this sore, that to me, that is very significant. That is extremely significant because it highlights the fact that doing all these lifts in the 500 to 600 range, which is what I've been doing for several months, has not been doing shit. It's not been getting my traps bigger. It's not been getting me sore even. The only thing that has ever made me this sore is rack pulls. So imagine this. Imagine, right? You do a 500 pound deadlift and you hold the weight at the top for 5 seconds. Compare that to a 1,000 pound rack pull holding the weight at the top for 5 seconds. What do you think is going to be better for your traps? We just have to use common sense, simple observation, and just pay attention to the body. And I know some guys are going to say, oh, well, you know what, Alex? It's the connective tissue. That's why you feel your traps so much. It's the connective tissue swelling up. All right. Well, you know what? Let's say you're right. Let's say it's just the connective tissue. Doesn't that prove in itself that the rack pulls stretch the traps to a tremendous degree? Doesn't it prove it? Doesn't it prove that it stresses it more than doing a deadlift? How can it be that I'm this sore from using sub-maximal weight when I've been doing 1 rep max grinders like every single week, not getting sore from deadlifts? It's because deadlifts, like I'm always saying in my videos, there's a huge posterior chain component. Even with the trap bar with the high handles, there's still, you're going to feel your spinal erectors, you're going to feel your glutes, your hamstrings, even your quads. That is what's limiting you, not the upper back and the traps, all right? It's the same thing for these guys who they have to strap up for their rows. It's not because their back is weak. It's because their forearms can't handle it, all right? So it's the same thing for the traps. The traps are one of the strongest muscle groups in the entire human body. There have been many naturals that pulled in the 1,000 range, you know. Mike Machine Bruce pulled 1,500. Eric Bugenhagen, 1,300. Lots of guys did 1,200, you know. We've seen it time and time again, guys who've reached these elite numbers, and every single one of them, without exception, has massive traps. Yet when I look at the guys who deadlift, same guys who are complaining about not getting sore, same guys who have strong deadlifts, 500 to 600, all these guys, or not all, but the majority don't have massive traps. So I'm convinced after this experience that soreness is a major indicator of traps growth. Maybe not for other muscle groups, you know, but for the traps, I believe that if you find a lift that shocks them like crazy, then you found something very special. And in this case, it just so happens to be the rack pull above the knee, the lift that I've been preaching for the longest time. So that's it for today's video. I just wanted to share with you my experiences. I think that when you get sore, that's a good thing for the rack pull. And just try it out yourself. Try it out yourself. Go in the gym, right? Do 1,000 pounds, 5x5, 5-second holds. At the top, let the traps stretch. Feel the traps stretch. Compare that to deadlifts with 500 pounds. Tell me what you feel more in the traps, right? I'm telling you, there's nobody in the world that could tell me that deadlifts are superior to rack pulls. There's no one who could tell me that deadlifts are all you need. I know for a fact, based off my experiences, based off my observations, that rack pulls are the shit. And this new experience that I had, well, not new because I've done it before, but the fact that I'm this sore from sub-maximal weight, when I was doing 1 rep max grinders, killing myself off the floor, this proves to me that rack pulls are the fucking king. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give me your feedback down below regarding soreness. I want to know. And with that said, I will talk to you all next time.